Hey, welcome everybody to our chess stream here on lichess and Twitch. I'm International Master William Paschall, and we are streaming the subscriber game analysis Thursday stream. So this is a subscriber stream. Welcome everybody. Welcome from our Panda friends. Hello. 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 I know I'm a freak. All right, it's time to start. We've got a bunch of submitted already on the list: Asterbait, Nefedov, Yubatis, Zenchess, Percy Hepworth, Move 11, Merle Dixon, our hero from yesterday, and Haberbomb. What's up, Asterbait, Clash to JCS? I've got a list of players we've seen here in chat on the phone with someone called, so it was kind of important. I had to start a little bit late. Asterbait's here, Zenchess, looks like Clash Kid, and JCS so far, and Slemon. Thank you guys for subscribing and being faithful to our stream. All right, let's get started before any crazy stuff happens. We're gonna get started with, let me see. I don't know, I'm having some sort of deja vu right now. Where is my stream? This is old stuff, right? I can get messages up to date here. What is this stuff? There's all kinds of... Hey, Merle Dixon, Move 11. All right, we're going down the list. Mr. Coffee, Asterbait. So Asterbait is first. Spectacular Camel is here also. Yesterday I said I will wait with the 2701 donation because of Merle's special simul, but today no mercy. Clash Kid, thank you for not hurting Merle's feelings with a generous donation yesterday. We will get started here. This is my cards games, by the way. They're kind of annoying to look at. All those boards cloud the screen. So we're gonna get started with Asterbait, I believe. This game here. Thursday commentary stream submission. This is Asterbait versus PP2A. Alright guys, I'm just getting settled in. It's been a very long day today. I'm helping take care of my mother, and it's unbelievable how many health organizations and nurses and stuff you have to do just to help take care of one person. Alright, so Asterbait versus PP2A. It's rapid chess. Let's take a look here. Clash Kid just earned a new 50,000 bits badge with 2701 donation. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Clash Kid started the war officially 2701, taking the leaderboard and earned a 50,000 bits badge. Wait, let's see the new bits badge, Clash Kid. Oh, it's orange. You didn't like that red one before. They changed the color of the red one. No, Clash Kid? It's like pinker than it used to be. The old one was like more red, and this is like, was that 10,001? The 50,000 one looks awesome. I like the orange color. Thank you, Clash Kid. Awesome job, man. Thanks for supporting the stream. I hope the mic is at least as good as it did last night. It hasn't gotten worse. Occasionally I'm going to have to leave the stream to keep an eye on my mother. She's on the camera. We've got her monitored, but sometimes she tries to get up, forgets that she has a tendency to fall. I have to keep her carefully monitored while I'm streaming. All right, this is E4, E5, D4. No, not D4. Knight F3. You know, I was suggesting to Asterbait to actually throw in the Bishop C4, Bishop's opening move or Asterbait. You could do that. If the chess thing doesn't work out for you, I can become an RN. Yeah, like Nurse Bob. Ironically, our primary nurse is named Bob. But he's a really good guy, and he's originally from Europe. Bishop C, yeah, Europeans are cool. E4, E5, Knight F3. C6. So this is cheers to Nurse Bob. Maybe you can hook me up with the chess thing doesn't work. I say that all the time. Mr. Coffee is just repeating my own lamenting my life. I love chess, but it's not really good for you financially, I think. All right. So knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, and usually Acerbate gets h6 around here. You know, everybody's afraid of fried liver. You know, whatever you call knight g5. I mean, I think that technically the fried liver is actually after, you know, knight g5, and then I think the fried liver is actually like this position. Technically, I think this is the beginning of the fried liver. So whatever you want to call it, it's not the fried liver until white plays knight takes f7. But anyway, people are so paranoid of that move that they're playing bad moves like f6 to stop it. That's pretty scary. I've never seen that before. Obviously, this empty diagonal is not good for Black's health. Again, Clash Kid, thank you so much. Really generous donation from Clash Kid. 2,701 bits. I don't know if Merle's here yet. Is Merle in the house? Merle's here. He just arrived. You've been upended. I'm sorry. No, basically I'm working 2 jobs as a chess coach and nurse, so I'm doing double shift every day. Basically 8 hours of chess and 8 hours of nursing. Alright, f6. Bad move. The only hope now would be some g6, bishop g7, knight e7, but nevertheless you're still having problems with diagonal there. How are you going to stop that? The problems with the white square diagonal. It's like insoluble for Black. Maybe some perverse way of castling queenside with like d6, but it's a disaster. So c3, I think this is fine. Although again, Acerbate, I think d4 is a little more effective. I've tried to really recommend that he tries to do the immediate d4 against h6. Here again, it's strong. c3 probably even stronger against f6 than against h6 because this diagonal is super weak. Queen b3 sometimes. Merle Dixon is thunderstruck. Clash Kid's immediate refutation. Clash Kid with 2,701 bits donated. Thank you guys, both of you, and Jim as well. Jim's not in the house yet today, but is it Jim and then Chess and the other players? Blaze Winterborn, Bob, and Acerbate. Nurse Bob. We'll see Nurse Bob tomorrow. On g to e7, and now Acerbate's favorite new move, a4. Yeah, this shouldn't become a habit in these type of positions, Acerbate. I don't know. You know, what this actually does here, I don't quite get it. It's a massive donation to cross the 1,000 barrier. You only need 500 plus to reach 1,000, get a green, diamonds or gemstones with thousands. So, man, that is great. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a tough day, but it feels a little bit better. I can use all the help I can get, at least psychologically. I never worked this much in my life. I think the computer is suggesting some g6 move for Black here. g5, excuse me. There's a famous game Taimanov played against Spassky where Taimanov was Black and he did something like that. g5, you know, I mean g6 would seem a little bit. Try to play bishop g7. So what do we got here? a4. g5 wasn't played. He played knight on g to e7. Now d5. Alright, this move I actually like for Black. And suddenly, Black's position almost looks okay. Because Acerbate wasted time with a4. This was a really bad move, dude. I mean, you need, as I told you before, you need to punish the opponent's mistakes. Bad moves that are left unpunished become good moves. And I think that's the case here. Pawn Grubber. Can I still submit the game? We're getting near the end, but I think we can still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can still accept like 2 more games. So PG. I'm just gonna call you PG because it's too long. It's too long to say Pawn Grubber every time. PG. A4, man. I mean, you're just might as well just make a random move. It's not appropriate. Really dropping the ball. He should be playing d4 fundamentally in the center. My game versus your game versus me. All right. I'll put an asterisk next to it. Yeah, this is terrible. Neglecting the center, letting black have the upper hand there with d5. And now I think black's almost got a normal position. I mean, he takes d, knight takes d. The only thing is maybe queen b3. But queen b3 is one of those queen a knight a5, queen b5 check, c6. So we can't even do queen b3. Maybe we could do some kind of weird Ricard style knight, like, sorry, 4 followed by queen b3. So if you play b4, he wouldn't have knight a5. But man, this is starting to look okay for black. And what did you do? You did what? I got a little bit of lag or something. How's our lag? 238. Good to see you, Merle Dixon. Thanks, Zencha, so much. Alright, so Pawn Grubber did submit the game. It's officially logged. Only one bad move for Masturbate, a4. And this is, you know, this is Spassky. I have to give you credit, Masturbate. Ask knight h4. Check out the game. I don't remember the tournament, but there's one great game where it was a Roy Lopez Norwegian variation. Spassky against Taimanov. I can't remember where it was played, but he did knight h4 for the Acerbate style trick there. But it's developed in that case. This is a good try, man, but it's just not fundamentally a good idea here. You're not developed enough. So knight f4 now. Looks like a good move, but this move doesn't develop either. He's stopping the queen to h5. Controlling queen squares. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry guys. So, knight h4, knight f4, stopping queen h5. Both sides decide to just stop developing their pieces here. Basically move around with the same pieces. Acerbate way too kindergarten style. It's going for fool's mate, queen f3. Fool's mate style. Alright, now black g5. This looks like a really bad move. Weakening the white square is worse. And again, this is the move that led to Taimanov's downfall in the game that I was talking about. I'm here, Bob. What's up? So g5, and in the game that I'm talking about, a totally different position with some similarities. There was a point at which I think like white could play queen h5 check, and that was the critical line. But here that's not possible. It was something to do with queen h5 check, knight back to g6, knight takes g6, and then pinning the piece to the queen on h5 or something. But here, obviously, this queen h5 is not an option. g3, and we just have a fancy trade of pieces. So I think that both sides a little bit lost, you know, they lost concept with the fundamentals in this game. I mean, black's king, it looks so bad, and white's development is not really great. Like this type of move, I mean, what does this accomplish for black? You know, on f4, how does that better your position? I think it's important to be like Mr. Spock. You know, try to be logical. Sci-fi reference. I don't go to like sci-fi conventions or anything, but I did like Star Trek. But when you think of logic, we think of cultural icons of logic. Mr. Spock, would not play e takes f4 in conventional Star Wars chess. There's no real reason to play this move. I mean, other than giving up your control of the center, like, what's this move fundamentally? He's trying to play 95 maybe. But the truth of the matter is that White could just play like d4. Even if he didn't have a check with queen h5, where White's just better because White has control of the center. But the game. So that's probably it for today, guys. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, maybe not. All right, Bob. Nurse Bob. It makes me leave. Of course. Oh, Dim, what? Somebody's leaving? Ludwig had to leave? Okay. Sorry, Ludwig, that you can't hang out with us. So, again, playing for 95, but he takes that for a queen h5 check, looks strong. And then you can probably help mate yourself here in short order. Obviously, this is crazy to waste time with that queen check hanging out there. King d7, and then rook g1. Interesting choice of moves by Asterbate here. Rook g1. What would you guys play? I mean, I think d4 because you need to get your pieces in the game, and you also take away the e5 square from black. So again, if you use logic, I mean, thinking about like making the pieces better again, and I think d4, no stimulants for me. Too anxious already. Excalibur Game Time. I never liked anything that they made. I think I like the DGT clocks the best. So King d7, Rook g1. Queen h5, King d7, Rook g1. Don't understand what this does. Asterbate, it seems like you should bring out the minor pieces here. d4, bishop takes f4. It's like a king's gambit. You can walk your king over here, probably, to safety. You could even castle. The fact that the matter is he can't play rook g8 check. But I think stopping 95 is really important. So this game was a mess, man. Queen e7 check. Good move, king d1. I mean, I think you have to consider king f1 as well. Trading queens would be a good endgame, but I don't think you want to trade queens necessarily with the black king is really exposed, even more than the white king here. You could trade queens. Again, I don't like this move. That's bad news. There's this nasty threat here. So Asterbate, I think you should have cut that possibility out in the next, I mean, within the last several moves. The possibility of black placing his knight on e5 is something that should have been disallowed. Banned from the game chat. Make the pieces great again. MTPGA. The Men's Tennis Pro Golf Association. So King d1. And now Queen d6. I'm having trouble understanding some of the moves here. He's just sort of shadowing your king. No clear purpose to this move. It's kind of funny. Asterbate is definitely not... Asterbate definitely understands what's going on here a little better than his opponent. Queen f7 check. Again, d4 would have been the best move. Now find it, d4. This move, should have been played long ago because clearly the knight is not going to e5 anymore, so that's not a problem. But Asterbate finally had the idea of picking this off on f4 and just getting his pieces in the game. It's starting to look like really good. It took him a while to get his act together in this game, but he's winning now. Yeah, so bishop e5 check. See a check, play a check, right? Nils is in here? Hey, what's up? Anyone on Bit War? Oh no. Started up. Bob actually unsubscribed. What? Unsubstantial bribe for my analysis submission. And unsubstantial. I don't know, Bob, that could move you up like one place in the list or something like that. I think 100 ought to move you up like at least one place in the list. Thank you guys. Wow, Nils with 500. I hear 1,000. Tim with another 100 and another 100 and another brother. So Bishop e5 check. Thank you guys so much. Bishop e5 check. Yeah, I mean, I think you're not focusing on development. You still have development to do. So I think knight a3 and knight d2 are worth considering. He finally got his king to a safe place. Isn't that amazing? I mean, the black king's relatively safe. Who and how much is number one? 2701. He just topped Merle Dixon's simul donation yesterday. 2701. I don't know if I'll ever get to that rating, but it's the highest rating in the bit chat right now. So Astrobay played knight a3. I don't mind that move. That looks like a good idea. And then a6 auto move. Man, knight c4. Ouch. And that's it because f4 falls. Oh no. Elegant. Elegant. I mean, really, like, Astrobay was stumbling around, but he shows his feel for coordination in the right moment now. And actually, what's he gonna do? Queen e6 check, trading queens. It's not check. You know, probably Astrobey's opponent has a hallucination that I did. Although if you're black, you know, you probably realize it's not check. Looks like useful analysis to watch, but lag is killing me. Actually, Stop Clock is a subscriber. I didn't know you were a subscriber. I'd settle for second. I'll settle for second. Well, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, the engine. Sorry, guys. It's the engine. I hadn't really had that problem. I didn't leave it. I don't normally leave it turned on for so long. So sorry about that stop clock. But that's probably like shut down my whole stream at this point. The only hope to beat Clash Kid is 20,000. I'm not that sure. Oh no, you'll be safe with 20,000. You're totally safe with 20,000. I'm hallucinating. Queen e6 would be check. Stopped clock. Well, I mean, I think the problem was mainly that my engine was on constantly for a long time. It's okay if I leave it a little bit on. Astrobate's like, bit war. He's just faking you out. He didn't watch any commercials today. This is beautiful, Astrobate. You know, excellent coordination. Bam. That is painful. Ouch. And a beautiful mate on e8. So, I mean, Astrobate took an ugly position with uncoordinated play and some mistakes, and he turned it into like a miniature brilliancy. 20-move victory. And showing excellent coordination. So I think that right now, like, one of your biggest stumbling blocks, Astrobate, is your openings. If you put more work into the openings, or more systematic, I mean, it would probably reduce your creativity, which is not always a good thing. Like, I know a lot of players who memorize openings. They're like IM strength guys who memorize tons of theory, but it hampers them in terms of like creativity and tenaciousness. So it's okay that you're a little bit slower to pick up the openings, Astrobate. I think your understanding of coordination of the pieces here really actually that won the day, and that's far more important than the opening. You can improve in the opening very easily. All right, Astrobate, pretty win. We're going to continue here. I've got Pawn Grubber, Slaggy Fan right. So unfortunately, we'll never know. Save it for next week, Jim. Alright guys, Erica SP. I've had a few people tell me that the game time is an unfair clock. Well, it's interesting. There was another company, what was it called now? Shoot. There are these like big gray clocks, and they used to use them in the first Saturday Grandmaster IM group and IM groups in Hungary, and there was this one clock that like you press the button and it wouldn't go. It would just like malfunction constantly, and it just stayed around. Like people always were like, oh, did I get the bad clock? Did I get the bad clock? You had this fear, you know, it would usually work, but every fifth time you pressed it, it just wouldn't press. So a lot of people ended up like losing on time because of this one cursed clock. But then again, if you know, I remember in the old days when with analog clocks, if you go to like Washington Square Park, there were hustlers who would like fix their clocks and stuff, and rigged clocks, like it was a gambling trick clock. Cheers, what's up? I'm trying to think of what that other clock type was. Okay, guys, let's go to the second game. So, Asperby, thank you. Yabad actually... No, Nefedov was next. Where is Nefedov? There. All right. His latest over the board game from, I guess, English... What do you call it? English, like, club league or whatever. Ealing A. He's playing the strongest 1400 in the world. Guess the result. Okay, so Ealing A is playing white. Alistair Johnstone. That's a very regal name. It sounds like something from Sherlock Holmes. That's a classic. Pavel Nefedov against Alistair G. Johnstone. Some serious genealogy there. Alright. So, Pavel is white, e4, c5, knight f3, d6. The Cytec, thank you, Mr. Croft. So the Cytec clocks... The Cytec clocks were murderous. That's this clock that it killed like 5 GMs, you know? I mean, I saw it like personally flag 5 Grandmasters. You just, you know, all the game it's kind of okay, and then at one moment you just press the clock and it doesn't go. And you know, it's that the move right before the time control or something. And all of a sudden your flag's down. Everybody was like, is it that clock? Is it that clock? Alright, so d4, c takes d4. You'd think they would like throw it away or something, but it just stayed around like forever in these Grandmaster tournaments. And it must have taken like 5 to 10 victims with it. Latest, how many rating points it cost people, I don't know. Yeah, don't get the Cytec. Mr. Coffee is a tournament director. The big gray ones, yeah, they're awful. I think I like the FIDE DGT clocks. A6, Bishop E2. Okay. Nefedov likes to play these quiet kind of open Sicilian lines. Classic old school Bishop E2. Karpov comes to mind. So E5, and now, yeah. So you can play F3. But I was talking about this in last week's subscriber stream game, I think. I don't remember who submitted it. But it seems like that's more useful when white plays like Bishop E3. So in other words, if we go back a move like A6, I mean this line, for example, Bishop E3, E5, Knight F3. For me, I mean, I don't know. This seems like we want to try to get the bishop to C4 if we can. It's a little more interesting. Or just not develop it right away. But maybe it's still good. Wasn't it... Where is why so serious today? Wasn't it Anand? Anand versus Esserman. A great game. Move 11's not here. He might be here later. Anand Esserman. I think it was something like this. Like Knight F3, Queen C7. But there's probably... There it is! 2017. This game was an absolute crush. Bob, don't tell Esserman I was talking about his game with Anand. Basically, he schooled him. But, you know, this was... I used this to teach the kids at chess school how, you know, how to use, like, the white squares in D5 at Esserman's expense. How to win without risk with the white pieces. It actually was a good game. Esserman played well to a degree. He is playing Anand, so it's pretty hard. But anyways, Knight F3 is okay. It's a little bit more modest. This is the classical way. Knight B3. Karpov again. So Bishop E7, now castles. Oh no, play Bishop E6. I mean, that's a typical plan. You play Bishop E6, and then you later play like Knight on BD7. I think he's also... You don't watch Esserman. I don't watch anybody but myself. Because I don't have time. I like other streamers, as I mentioned before, but I'm just, like, I'm working 16 hours a day. It's all I can do to watch myself. And I can't even do that. Classic Anand. Win without risk. Did you see the game, Masturbate? Did you look through it? It's beautiful. Beautiful game. Anand Esserman. So castles, Bishop E6. Bishop G5. And this is Karpov, I guess. Though I don't see any... I take it back. There are no Karpov games. But he liked to play Bishop G5. But I don't know about here in this particular position. What about F4? F4 is the main line. There's got to be some Karpov here. No Karpov. King h1. Black will achieve d5 at some point. Alright, so bishop g5. The problem with that is, like, you don't really want to trade dark square bishop. Get absolute control of d5. The knight e4 never works. That's my new theory, Zen chess. This like works like 1% of the time in Sicilian defense. And the 1% of the time it works, it's like equal. Like it's never better for black, these simplifying combinations. Azerbaijan will tell you that it works well in the Czech Benoni though. I mean, you should just never play bishop g5 when there's this setup here, just like the Czech Benoni. Like, well, we don't have anything with this pin. I mean, we're not gaining anything. We're actually courting an exchange of pieces that we don't want to make with bishop g5 and bishop e7. So, I mean, theoretically, black could move his knight if he had a good square to move it to. What's Sanchez talking about? Knight takes e4? Let's take a look. You know, maybe d6 falls. You know, bishop takes g5, and then we take on d6. I'm assuming white is just better here. This just may win a pawn, right? Takes, takes, takes. Azerbaijan would recommend bishop h3. But, I mean, I don't think this is quite sound. Quite sound. Somewhat unsound. We'll say it's somewhat unsound. Bishop f3. Bishop f3, game over. Well, I mean, white's better. So, yeah, I don't think... It just never works in chess. You know that. You play the Najdorf. So I don't like bishop g5. Here's the reason why. The other reason why. Knight on bd7. So you don't even have like bishop takes knight and force him to take the bishop and own the d5 square. He's just like taking back with the knight all the time. So white has really nothing to do. You can see the score here. 6, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Wait, this is humorous. 18 games that this position was reached and white won once. Like, check that out. That's insane. Black has 2... like 3, 4, oh my god, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins for black, 1 win for white, and the rest were draws. Hey, that's a good score. What's up, Nils? You want to buy a clock? he like has like a trench coat, you know, and he sells clocks at the local park under his jacket. Zenchess and Nils are tied for 1,000 in the bit war. Alright, so here, okay. Nefedov basically concerned about that e4, but this is, I mean, this is a waste of time, of course. We're playing knight d2. I mean, maybe we can manage like knight c4 somehow, or maybe we can play like knight f1, knight e3. Maybe. In this position. Zenchess is actually should be the authority here. We should be getting his input. Because I don't really, you know, sometimes I play this for fun with white, but I don't really know it. And now b5 does make sense. I mean, he's taking away the a4. Excuse me, the c4. And I'm trying to play a4, maybe. a4. a4, knight a2. Feels like we're going the wrong direction. Sorry, Nefedov played a3. I'm curious what the Oracle says here. Nils is like, no, we're not. Donates 100 bits. I got the best of a4 according to Stockfish, but this is really changing this game a lot. I mean, I would imagine here would be playable, but you know what's going on in this position. Tough position. Queen b8. That's a cool idea. Bishop d8 and then bring it out. My former teammate, Hoi Min, Grandmaster from Vietnam, he's a really good Najdorf player. He used to play so many games where he played bishop d8, you know. That's a classic. But anyway, okay, yeah, Nefedov played a3, just stopping b4. I don't think that's black's point here, to play b4. I think he's just stopping you from playing knight c4. So a3 seems maybe unnecessary. Although Pavel was probably legitimately thinking, okay, his knight doesn't have a good place to go in the event of b4, so maybe it's not so silly. I don't like bishop g5. Your analysis is rook c8 takes c3. Absolutely. That's an idea. Although, you know, you might weaken the structure if you leave the a6 pawn unprotected. Nils, thank you for the donation. Thanks for getting clear 4th place in bit donations this week. King h1. Yeah, Nefedov was trying to do nothing well here. That's the problem with the whole setup, though. There is no plan for white. And I think that's because there is no good pawn break. I mean, the only pawn break is f4. And really, I mean, I think he was setting it up and then he didn't have the guts to pull the trigger. Or he just had second thoughts or whatever. But I mean, when you play king h1, you play bishop g5. It's a bishop e2 Najdorf. The plan is to play f4. I mean, that's the way it is. And Nefedov just like decided he didn't like it after making these kind of setup moves. But so, you know, black could take maybe and just play a Scheveningen type of thing with knight e5, or he could just let white play like f5, but that doesn't look right to me. So Zenchess's suggestion of second exchanges is definitely like an option at some point. But Nefedov has overprotected e4, so that's kind of discouraging the exchange sacrifice, I think. This move I don't like. I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with anything. Again, I think Pavel's overprotecting, so kind of Petrosian-like approach. Say Petrosian-like approach, like a million times. Wow, Nils is not in 4th. He's in 3rd place. He's in the money. He's in the medal hunt now with 1600 bits. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Seriously. All right, let's get on with it. I mean, I'd love to thank you guys more, but I want to do all the games and focus on what we're here for. H6, now where to go? Yeah, so the whole thing was a big sham, basically. Bishop g5 just doesn't do anything. And so black can equalize here. I mean, he can equalize from his better position with d5. Yeah, I should learn the Najdorf Zen chess. Then I'd have something to play against Nefedov. It's funny because Nefedov really has a good system against a lot of openings, but here in the Najdorf he looks kind of bankrupt. Pavel, you need to work on... I don't mean to talk about him in the 3rd person or whatever, but Pavel, you need to work on this Najdorf line, man. This is lame. This is kind of lame. I mean, you're good against the Scheveningen. I've played that against you, you know, the e6 based setups. But it looks against this e5, you don't really have anything. You're toothless against the e5 Najdorf. Rook e8. Another move I'm not sure about. I mean, the dude should play... What's up with d5 here? d5 maybe can wait, but he doesn't want to equalize. He's already better. Knight c5 is kind of a weird move. So how do you do this? If you're already better, then you don't want to like equalize. I'll stop donating if you keep the engine. Sorry. So rook e8, knight f3. That's a bishop. Okay, this move we see now. Nefedov's. Yeah, I mean, I start to see the pattern now, and it's looking like there's some logic behind Nefedov's play. He's basically somewhere along the line looked at a lot of Petrosian games or something, and he's super solid, and he's just like, you're not going to hurt me. You're not going to get control of these squares. I think the key for black here would be to do the Hoyn-Min bishop exchange. Right about now, black's like, well, I wish I had played queen b8 and bishop d8 and bishop b6, because if you could trade off that bishop on e3, imagine if black could just envision that. You know, black could trade that off. I think that black would be really doing well here with that pawn on f3. Better than just equalizing with d5. You can play bishop d8 and trade it off. The problem is now rook c8 might have actually, you know, maybe it was actually a bad move. Zen chess, the exchange sacrifice on c3, I mean, I don't know. Now we need to come up with something original. We can't do bishop d8. So he's playing like it's like a like it's an e4 e5 opening. It's the Joko piano. Never seen that too often in the Najdorf. Knight f8 to g6. This is a good move. Never realized how Petrosian-like Nefedov is. Queen d7, queen e2, and now knight g4. controversial. This move is very controversial. It leaves d5 open, and it allows white to essentially trade off his worst piece, the bishop, the white square bishop. But again, if you take on e3, then white takes with the knight, and he'll have domination of d5. So basically, in all lines, knight g4 looks like a kind of fail. I think black has failed a little bit. You know, come up with like a good plan. This doesn't do anything. It just takes. You just take. And then whatever. I mean, we've got the square. So white can never be worse. There's the horrifying bishop g4. Suddenly the table's turned. Black has a knight on g6 that can't move except to h8. And white has knights coming to d5 and the possibility of exchanging off his bad bishop with bishop g4. I think that white is just better now. Okay, this bishop move is kind of like, please take me. You know the Alice in Wonderland, please eat me? This is please take me. You know, I'm not sure that we should be in a hurry to actually oblige him here. I mean, it has like no mobility at all. Maybe Nefedov, yeah, has no choice. Cause see, the thing is, if he goes here, no, maybe this is good. I was gonna say bishop g5, but I mean d6 is hanging. So maybe knight takes e4 is fine, but you could try for more with queen d2. I'll only turn the engine on for a second and see what it thinks. Okay, basically the engine thinks that both are good, but knight c4 is even better. Alright, well, what do you got here? Okay, so bishop g4, I just saw. Let's take with rook. Alright, so it looks like black's hanging on, though. You know, but I don't think that black did anything in this game, to be honest with you, to impress me. I mean, other than not making blunders. Yeah, there's a position where I kind of like bishop d8, the John Nunn bishop. It looks like a Sveshnikov now. And black might be okay, but he's still worse. If you gave this position to like a really good white side of the Sveshnikov player, like Nick DeFermian or something, dude, I mean, there's no way that black would survive. I mean, Alexander Ivanov or these American grandmasters who I know, for example, who are very good with white fixed structure Sicilians. Man, I mean, this is just a better bishop than that bishop, probably. So, and there's the weakness on d5. Plus, white has a queenside majority. So we have like 3 advantages. The better bishop, the strong d5 square, and the queenside majority. That could become a pass pawn. Nefedov getting aggressive with h4. And what happened? Draw, agreed? Are you kidding me? This is draw, agreed? Alright, I mean, you just gave the guy a draw in a better position. White has everything here. Better bishop, d5 square, queenside majority, space on the king side. Looks like a Petrosian primer game. This is the beginning of principle of 2 weaknesses for white as well. Now we are not only attacking, like, we have not only the advantage in the center, we have the advantage on the king side. We might even have the advantage on the queen side too. So this is a very generous draw here by Nefedov. I would estimate white's advantage is north of a pawn. Yeah, it's 1.4. So very nice of you. He said Nefedov, you know, 20 pounds for a couple beers after the game and offered a draw under the table. So that's it, man. Bad draw, except, I mean, I would understand if you were playing like a GM or something. But no, this should not be a draw. Alright, what's up next? Yabatis. Alright. Yabatis. There was an interesting game to look at, though. He sold the game for 4. How many pints would you get for 20 pounds? That's the question. Merle's game yesterday, he had a way to draw, but he went the wrong way. He should have just stayed near the king side. When he went to the queen side to trap my knight, that's when he lost. JCS. The definition of blunder changes with the rating. It's interesting. True. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me, and thanks for being subscribers to my stream. International Will Paschall, everyone's welcome here. We're doing some constructive game analysis. Yeah, but basically, Nefedov, you played the opening badly, and then you outplayed him in a series of moves, and then you gave him a draw like when you were better. What can you say? I've certainly given people draws from better positions. I skipped Zen chess. No, I didn't skip you. You were 4th on the list. Did you bribe me to be up higher in the list, Zen chess? Nefedov was 1st, and then you bought us, and Zen chess is 4th, according to my calculations. All right. You're 4th. You may not have been like technically 4th, but basically you bought us, and I agreed before he submitted the game that he was going to submit a game, so I put him on the list first ahead of you. So I'm not trying to cheat you, but he actually said I'm gonna do it, so I put him on the list even before he submitted the game. D4, knight c6, d5. The Mexican defense, 95, e4. So that's it. I mean, I played f4 the other day against. No. I wouldn't as critical, but I'm sorry. I'm talking about my game with Negro who played. Let's see what happened yesterday. Oh, I played e4, and Negro Modelo transposed to the whatever it is. So 20 pounds is 1 pint in London. Oh my god, dude! Don't even joke about it. There's no way like a pint of beer is 20 pounds in any like normal place, is it? I mean, that's like the 5-star hotel price. You have to get at least 2 pints for 20 pounds, no? Even in London. So, but Nefedov's probably like in the boonies, so you could get 4 pounds. All right, let's check this out though. True Mexican defense. I was saying like last week, what knight b8 is interesting. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Michelle Godina. But this is more interesting. So f4 is the most fun, you know, and then knight g6. I played a game like this with black, and I think you bought us. Was this the Mexican wall variation you bought us? The Mexican wall. Yeah. My mother got a letter from Donald Trump today. Like, seriously, the only people who would vote for Donald Trump have Alzheimer's. I mean, this is the only way you could possibly be fooled. But, seriously, the Mexican wall defense. We were joking about this a couple streams ago. This was funny. White got overextended against Yabatis, but then he went too far. I don't remember exactly how it went now. So knight g6, yeah, that's fun. But anyway, this is a very sound move. It's probably, you know, how would this go? I feel like I've seen this somewhere before, but I'm getting it confused with a different position. e6 looks thematic. So Yabatis played c6, which is surprising, because I didn't think that's really his thing. I thought that e6 would be more like Yabatis' style. He doesn't really like to attack the center with the wing pawns. Yeah, are you legally allowed to vote if you have Alzheimer's disease? Because if you could, like, Trump could get a lot of voters that way. His best bet at re-election in 2020, just canvassing like the neighborhood, finding like people with Alzheimer's. They would forget to show up though. All right, e4, c6. Yeah, c6 is interesting. It's like a weird Aliakins, but it seems to me this move isn't as central as e6. So, who is that? Okay, I can't say that. Zeladini. That's cool. Cool name. c6. Why not e6 here? You just wanted to try something different? Spectacular Comment says I can change. No, this is funny. Alright, so this is a new move almost. F4. What are you gonna do about that? I don't know, man. C6 is pretty cutting it close. Man, this looks a little bit over the top, Bodice. I think you went too far here. This is probably good for white. You know the pawn advance c4 c5, the what's it called, the chase variation, Aliekin's defense with e4 e5 and c4 c5. It's kind of like that, you know. I would think like this is still somewhat promising for white, but does white hold this d5 pawn? Just like knight c3 here. Not really sure. I was thinking something crazy with knight f3, and then I would imagine black would take on d5. Or what do you do? Queen c7. What? What is black doing there? Knight f3, c6d, and I was even thinking like maybe you could try to sack a pawn with e5 to do f5. But that doesn't work. Black would just play d6. No, let's not be fancy. What do you do here? I mean, in the event of knight f3, I would think c takes d. Yeah, I mean, the computer agrees. The move is actually best. Queen c7. Oh my god. I don't know this at home. Queen c7? That's just bizarre. I don't agree with draws against all players. Exactly. I definitely, if you're talking about me. So Yabatis needs to figure this out, man. Alright, so knight f3. This is the game. Oh, he did play it. So I think that this is actually better. I'm talking in circles, but I wanted to get to the main point here, in that it seems to me like knight c3 makes more sense, because we would probably consider at least taking with the knight on d5 if black takes. But my gut instinct would be something like c takes d, knight takes d5, knight. As strange as this looks, it may not be that bad for black. I mean, it's not good for black, but it might not be that bad. +1. Well, that's where we were anyway, probably when we played c6. Also, knight f6 might be not that bad. Today I was talking to somebody about hyper-modern chess, I guess, and I was describing it like this. Think of hyper-modernism as a scale, and it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, Larson being like the highest and the lowest being like someone really classical, like maybe Morphy. Yabatis is going like beyond even Larson here. With it's like Basman is 10, Larson is like a 9. Okay, e takes d5, knight takes d5. This is just analysis. Well, I played knight f3 here. Now takes. I mean, what about f5? Does that not win a piece? No, because of d takes d. So that's his whole point. All right, answer a stupid question. Self. Note to self. Answer self stupid questions. This is okay now. No, it's not. Now we have a problem, Houston. Man, white has f5 here? Oh no. You without f5. Yabatis, what are you going to do about that? You're a little bit short of squares. It's just it's a slight technical problem for black, the fact that white has this move. It's not a big deal. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice of several pawns. So I just don't know how we're getting the third pawn back. We need 3 for a piece, and I just don't see that happening. Basically, Yabatis to sack the piece for 2 pawns. No, you can't allow it, so you kind of just were screwed now. I guess you have to play e6, man, and just stop f5. Physically stop f5 before it's too late. Damn. I mean, this is just lost for black after f5, right? Yeah. So he just did. It's such a weird move. He didn't consider it. But if you play f4 against the Mexican defense, you should probably consider playing f5. You know, at some point in the near future. So he played c4. He just likes moving pawns, and I can see it now. It's a little Mexican wall again. The wall has holes all over the place. There's a tunnel. This is my joke from last week. There's a tunnel over here. There's another, like, you know, a tunnel sprouting out over there on b4. They're jumping over the wall over on this side. They're going over, pole vaulting like a zombie in Plants vs. Zombies. Yeah, and you could just maybe like just break the wall, like drill a hole in it, like in the front here with e takes d. So it looks like the Mexican wall is just falling down. Knight c3. Yabatis gets a little too kinky here with queen b6. I think this looks strange. Develop the queens. Wait, what's that catchphrase? Knights before bishops? Queens before bishops? Queens before bishops, according to Yabatis. Okay, the move is not that stupid. He's tying him down to b2. There is this diagonal here. So, but I would assume that bishop d3 wouldn't be that bad. Bishop d3, idea, queen e2 would be a standard type of setup. Here and here. We could probably cover everything. There are a lot of dark square holes in the Mexican side of the border. I mean, the American side of the border here. This is like El Paso. For here is like... Alright. Queen b6. Queen b3. He's just bailing out, trying to trade queens. But white is just overextended, and I don't think, you know, he's going to be solving all of his problems. But it's probably not a bad idea to trade queens. Yabatis says no. No. This is the border agent, basically, on b3. Border patrol, but he's not getting paid. That's the problem. He's not getting paid at the moment because of the shutdown. So he's been stymied by bishop b4. Bishop takes c3. I don't like this move. Whoa, we're giving up that bishop? That's like a drug lord or something. I mean, that bishop is... He's working for, like, El Chapo. I mean, this bishop is like El Chapo's right-hand man. I mean, this thing is definitely too strong to trade off. Oh my god, the ICC politics channel. Dude, I would kill myself. I hate any kind of like forums that talk about politics. I mean, as much as I like joking about it, people that vent constantly and just seethe over it, it's totally sick. No, I would be offended by that. Would be a treat in the ICC politics. I wouldn't do that, JCS. No, I mean, no, it's gross, dude. People, you know those people who inject politics into like the text chat? Yeah, and even in like the World Championship game on sites like Chess Bomb and stuff. It's perverse. I just like joking about it, you know. Bishop takes c3, queen takes c3, knight e4. Acerbate. Approved. Pawn sacrifice. Snacrifice. So what's going on here? I think the acerbate is going to undermine the knight on f3 with the strike knight h4. He's threatening knight h4, basically next move, or something like that. He would be unemployed. Nah, you can't kill the organization. Man, Mattis is just melting again. He did this in the other Mexican wall game where he kind of lost his composure, but I think this is actually pretty strong for white. Queen here. I mean, but I'm seriously thinking about queen takes g7. I need to see a refutation of this before I'm gonna subscribe to this whole position. I mean, it's very nice to have queen f2 check, but what do you do after that? Basically, here, this is the question. I don't see it. I was jokingly suggesting knight h4, but I don't think that dropping rooks is going to work out here. So we have to consult the oracle double check. I will not leave it turned on. Wow. Okay, queen f2, king d2. So just taking, simply taking, check here, taking. But it's not like totally crushing. It's still relatively unclear because black's having a hard time getting the bishop out for the rook, and I mean the whole thing seems a little bit iffy. Paschall can just snap the pawn on f4, be a pawn up, threaten to like trade queen, and go into the endgame with. He's not up a pawn. Never mind. Well, anyway, he's not a pawn, so he's kind of melted. His advantage is melted down. Man, I would exchange queens so fast here. He didn't. Okay, this move just keeps on. This is good too. So Paschall lost all of his edge. I mean, now you have a chance to check him with rook e8. So if you take on d5, he basically has to play bishop takes g6. Or what? Paschall opens the game right now before he has a chance to get away. It's like mandatory, man. I mean, ED, you've got to do that, and you check him, and you're going to mess him up permanently for life, basically. A threat sometimes is stronger than execution. Absolutely, aspirate. Huge rule. A huge rule about the threat being stronger than execution. That's why I stress, like, that's why I stress, keeping the tension so much in games, and it's not just my idea, obviously. So this is just a move too slow. I mean, I think that he can castle queenside possibly, or perhaps Wade has a different way of playing it. Maybe he can't offer a trade of queens without losing a pawn. Well, maybe Paschall is still better here. I mean, castle's queenside does look a little sketchy. Paschall is still better, even with the slow d6. He finally took. Then white does this surgical kind of bishop takes g6. But the white king doesn't look safe. You know, you should seriously consider taking with the pawn, but then this goes with check. That sucks. So this and this. Oh, man. All right. So bishop f5, trapping him in the center, threatening to just do some damage to the white king. And obviously we're not trading queens here. But what is the best move? I mean, maybe queen a5. Because queen e3 check, he has queen d2, which concerns me. Oh man, that's beautiful. Beautiful astrobate. I mean, why am I saying astrobate? Because astrobate was in the chat. Paschall, queen b1, that is awesome. My god. Beautiful. And the d file. Oh, he didn't do it. Okay, I thought you could cut him off with rook d8 here. Oh, that's so sick, dude. You can do that, like rook d8. If knight d2, rook takes d2. Isn't that a beautiful line? No matter what white does, he's done. So this is more elegant. Rook d8. Okay, this is winning. No doubt, it's good enough. I think my line is more elegant. White should at least run for the hills here. So king e2, rook e8. Is over, or just over? Eventually, we're gonna win a piece because he has to play knight e5, and I guess eventually black has rather f6. No. Oh, there's bishop g4. That's cute. Okay, so it's totally over. Bishop g4. Game, nice game. Great hypermodern chess. All right, I'm not taking any challenges today, guys. We're just doing the subscriber game analysis. I want to remind everyone, not remind everyone, I want to tell everyone, I've got to be a little flexible with my schedules. So basically the afternoon streams are pretty good. That's 4:30, but I've got some issues in the morning time. My 12 o'clock streams I have to move a bit. So like Monday I have to move my Friday stream. Tomorrow we're going to be doing it in the afternoon. So JCS at least, and the rest of you guys know, we're going to do 3:30. This is an unusual time for me. Friday, and a short hour and a half. Friday will be 1.5 hours. Tomorrow from 3:30 to 5 p.m. here. We're going to be doing open blitz challenges 5+3 Fast Friday. Unusual time for me, but I've got to do it that way. That's my only time slot on Friday that I can do, and I don't want to cancel streams, but I definitely have to move it. Damn it, Bob, Nurse Bob. All right, beautiful game by Tobias. It looked like he was getting away there. You let him get out of the bag for a while, but you know that happens. So Zen Chess is really next. Let's Nils. Wait, Nils donated again? I missed Nils's donation. No, that was when Nils added the 500. Okay. So Nils is up to 1,600 for today. I didn't really count. Nils is up to 1,600, solidly in third place. Yesterday with the Merle Dixon Simul. All right, Zen Chess. I'm interested. It's not a Nidorf, is it? Thought I was doing well this game, but slipped away. Grand Prix attack. All right. You know I'm the authority on the white side of the Grand Prix attack. I have played the Grand Prix. I played a few games, but I like beating it with black, or trying to beat it with black. Great game by Spectacular. Yeah, Spectacular Camel is talented. All camels are dangerous, especially when they start spitting on you. JCS, thanks for posting that in the forum. I'm really, really stressed for time. Stretched for time. So, okay, we're white. It's a Grand Prix attack. I don't hate the Grand Prix attack as much as I hate the London system, because at least the Grand Prix attack is kind of like, you know, wholeheartedly aggressive. Feels like the London system is like this lame thing. So F4, E6, uh-oh. The dreaded E6. Yeah, this is recommended in Beating the Anti-Sicilians or something like that by Richard Palliser. Basically, Palliser wanted to recommend Assistant to Black, which like every other author hasn't done already. So it was a nice approach. In this line, he recommended E6 rather than the standard G6, Bishop G7. And I never really became comfortable with this line for black, but it does have a good reputation. I remember 30 years ago watching Roman play, like crushing this IM in a rapid game and some quad or something. Roman just like doubled his C pawn. It was someone pretty strong, like Leonid Sokolin or something. Roman just like doubled his C pawns with Bishop B5. He let him do it. I mean, that was stupid. So the point is, Knight F3, Knight E7, or like Bishop B5 is coming next. So D5. It was actually this variation, I think, this game that I saw 30 years ago, where Sokolin just like let Roman double his C pawns, and then misplayed it later. But this is actually an accepted line for black as well. You know, of course, like Knight E7 is supposed to be solid for black in this position. Again, but I don't know it too well. This is the main recommendation by Palliser, and he likes it, you know, but okay, Bishop B5, pretty much forced. And so this point, I guess there are different moves, but Knight E7 is the main one. And now what do? Like, all right. Yeah, apparently there's this move Queen E2. Zen Chess, I don't know what I'm doing with white here. I don't know what I'm doing with either color, actually. I can just vaguely remember, because I never adopted Palliser's recommendation myself. I just saw it in this book. I liked a lot of his other suggestions and other lines, but I never actually started playing this against the Grand Prix attack. I just remember bits and pieces. I remember there's some lines where you like take on e4 and even let the bad structure happen with like bishop takes c6 and even take with the pawn in some lines. So ed, there's Jones versus Van Velde, 2018. By the way, Gawain is like probably one of the strongest players who plays the Grand Prix attack. Okay, so take queen e2, f6 was in that book. Jones loses against Van Velde. Yeah, I mean, Van Velde probably not the best player to play the Grand Prix attack against. I mean, if anybody knows the best line, that would likely be it. Probably. So ed. Knight f6 was played by black, though. This is clearly, I think, worse than knight e7. 22-58. He might have even, yeah, he played against me one game. Recommended by Avrook as well. It is similar to a Nimzo Uber driver, of course. I mean, the thematic idea of bishop, I always like, you know, bishop b4 playing the reverse Grand Prix attack. So now d3. Sunil Weirmatry. No, Sunil always played bishop c4. That's in the g6 lines. I don't know what Sunil did here. Sunil, like Nakamura's stepfather, was a chess coach who he religiously played the Grand Prix attack in its like normal form. Once I beat him in the Grand Prix, but it's a long time ago. d3, d takes e4. I mean, I don't know. You know, this line looks kind of harmless, basically. It's like my friend Attila Sebe won a game. You double the pawns. Interesting. Bent Larsen against Rosito. This is played in Argentina, one would assume. Larsen spent a lot of time in Argentina. He also liked the Canary Islands. The one time I saw Larsen was in Gran Canaria. I so wish I had gotten his autograph when I saw him. We were playing in the same tournament. Okay, so games here. The guy goes into this and trades queens. Yeah, I mean, obviously white might be a little bit better. It would be nice if black had played a6. They could block his bishop even more. Yeah, Sunil's book. He trained a lot of kids. So yeah, I mean, it basically looks like black's supposed to play bishop e7. But again, I wouldn't touch this. I wouldn't touch this line for black. I mean, I don't understand the whole setup with like knight f6 and knight c6. It just looks kind of lame to me for black. I don't know why you would want to play that way, particularly. So here you're leaving. It looks like you're supposed to play e5, and this is like, well, this is an English opening reverse actually. Zen chess. You know, there's a line. If we do, actually, how does that go? I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of this, like c4, e5, say knight c3, knight c6, knight f3. It's like a four knights English, but yeah, where there's no f5 there. So there are Grand Prix attack lines where that happens, though. Like black plays f5, right? And you would basically be getting this, which I played a lot with white. Line here. Let's say, where does he go though? You know, knight. Problem is you can't basically create the same position. Similar structure though. Typically you push. So I think that's the best recommendation. This move here, you know, is the critical moment. D3. I mean, I guess D3 isn't as good as pushing. You should just push. And this has got to be, you know, the best chance. Totally justified. It's a Nimzo. You know, the comparison to a Nimzo is totally appropriate. I don't know if black should go back here. He should go here. He should go back to G8. It's difficult to decide. You read all 5 books in the trilogy. Oh, Somewhat Unsound is here. Or no. Yeah, I just can't read his name because it's in like highlight green. Alright, so D3 is kind of lame. We get to this endgame. Looks like it's no big deal. So what's the truth here? I mean, I don't think that white can be worse because of that pawn like bishop. But at the same time, there are ways that black can get active counterplay. Bishop A6, rook B8, maybe C4 at some point. This is obviously a critical moment. I mean, King C1 is something that needs to be considered as well. Yesterday I had in the game this type of concept, and we need to look at this. I mean, King E1 is more centralized, admittedly, and you can bring the rook out and maybe trade it. You're gonna wholesale exchange here. So you're just trying to trade piece, basically. It isn't easy to lose this. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is maybe trying to play like G4. But this bishop F1, bishop H3. So I'm not sure what we should do here. The guy is like 2200 from Armenia. I mean, he's probably a game player, I would imagine. He actually played G4. I'm scared of bishop F1, bishop here. Is that something like a problem? It's one of the better moves, but apparently it's not a big deal. I guess you could just play G5 if you had to. What's the computer gonna say? Like knight G1? I'll turn the engine off. King E1, bishop H3, what? King E1, bishop H3, G5. It just plays G5. Yeah. Anyway, it's hard to lose this position, but I think, you know, you played unambitiously, allowing, you know, going for the exchanging pieces. So you definitely don't want to put pawns on dark squares, I think here. Might be more, I don't know, I might be more inclined to play like B3. Computer's starting to like black. The engine like sure move C3. Maybe I'm being too dogmatic. Okay, C3 is fine. It's not a big deal. Like these being fixed on the dark squares. All right. Yeah, my move would let him trade the pawns. But I don't think you're gonna win this position, really. I mean, you're just not that much better. It's almost like you're playing for a draw. So if you take on F6, you know, your H pawn is going to be hanging. Alright, this move feels like you're selling out. But you're winning along with knight 4, knight b2, and knight takes A4. This was the idea, okay. Your knight gets all messed up. So Zenchess lost this ending. I guess it was on time or something. But it's basically a draw. I mean, two chips. I don't know though. You do have two connected pass pawns. Come to think of it, but he probably forces obstacle bishops pretty easy here. I would imagine he'll find a way to just force bishops, and the connected pawns may not necessarily be winning. But not easy. Why this move? Why this move? I mean, Okay, your h-pawn's hanging. Yeah, that is a problem. What if you just start going for it? Like king here. Bishop takes h4, c4, you know, b4, b5. I mean, I think that's what you should try. Unfortunately, his bishops are pretty strong, and what gets us to trade ops-colored bishops, that's like drawish, and he has an outside pawn. Yeah, like the real evaluation is probably equal. I don't think either side was really winning until the end, I guess, where Zenchess started to mess up. Yeah, now it's awkward because the H pawn is actually just as strong as these two connectors that you can't get moving. No, I mean, this move is weird. You can't play king d3 though. That sucks. Back to c5 again, and then the h pawn is like queening. So your move looks kind of forced. Knight g5. But it's hard to make progress. There's this problem. You have to kind of make up your mind that you want to draw, you know, and you don't want to win. You just want to get a draw somehow. I mean, I think that's the problem. Zenchess doesn't know whether he's playing for a draw or he's playing for a win, and it's like not clear in his mind what he's doing. I think you have to just make up your mind you're holding and trying to defend. There is in the back of your mind this idea, oh, I have two connected pass pawns, I can win, but he's just too well coordinated. His king is good, his bishops are good. I think Zenchess couldn't decide, so he ended up kind of losing his lunch money. Give me your lunch money, kid. Ouch. And that's, you're not going to get there. Paralytic endgame play. So no bishop h2. We can't do that. You would try something else, I guess, like king d2, I would think. That's going to lose, though. Take, and like h3. Yeah, he's lost now. That's sad, man. It's sad. But I think you just had to make up your mind at some point. At what point I'm playing for a draw now, you know? I'm not winning. You just have to kind of trust your judgment, you know, that first you have to realize you're not winning before you can play for a draw. Accept the fact that you're not winning, and then you just decide that the next logical thing to do is to really concretely play for a draw. All right, so Percy Hepworth is up next. Thanks, guys, for supporting the stream. Clash Kid, Merle Dixon, Nils, and the others. Dim, Zenchess, Bob, Blaze Winterborn, and Asterbait, to be exact. Thanks everybody for just subscribing and being part of my stream. All right, guys, we have another hour left in the stream. We're kind of wordy and an hour and 5 minutes because I started late. We're gonna get in as many games as we can. Percy Hepworth. The hardest part is accepting you have a problem. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. But I've never been there. I've watched it on TV. Bishop g1, h3. All right, end of game. Next story. Yeah, it's very hard for people to accept, like, especially like when you were winning or you thought you were winning earlier, you know, to realize like I've got to bear down and just play for a draw now. Some people just can't get to that mode at all. This is my game against the 167. I was black from Percy Hepworth. I need another drink. All right, some water would be good. Done my beer, done my coffee. All right, you were black to French. Advanced French, cool. We don't get many Frenches here. So I'm not a French player. All right. Bishop d7 is a rare variation. Now you played a6, which is apparently dubious. But it's a move. I mean, the computer is being nitpicking there. I remember Dima Werner, and I am from Germany, who played a lot in Budapest, used to do this. He had some games where he actually played like Bishop e5. Of course, who would play this? Morozevich and Richard Rapport. Rapport, Ricard, and Morazevich. No surprise. Like, those guys just like doing weird stuff. Alright, so it's just a weird line. I'm surprised there's no Dima Werner games here. Another guy who likes doing weird stuff, Shanisha Drazic, back in the day, 1991, when he was young, and so was I. Bishop e5, castles, bishop takes e2, so you trade off your bishop. I mean, you would think that white ought to like take on b5. I mean, at least this creates some damage to black's pawn structure. But is there any other way white can play here instead of being robotic? I mean, okay, bishop d7 here, a6. I mean, when you try to play like queen b6, you know, the same plan, the queen b6, bishop b5, the most dynamic and effective systems are basically white changing the game and trying to do some crazy stuff with like c4. So wouldn't it follow that the same thing would apply against a move like a6? Against a6, white shouldn't do the routine. He should try to, you know, be the ball, basically. Yeah, Drazic is known for his weird openings, not just whatever that thing is he's named for. He plays weird openings like every single game. Move 11. I don't know. There was a reference to you earlier. I don't remember whether it was good or bad. So I think that white should try to... Yeah, it feels like white should try to take advantage of this by changing the game somehow, but how? I mean, you know, c4 doesn't look like it's been played by anyone. It doesn't seem absurd, though. I mean, it's a slow move. a6 is a slow move, so it makes you want to like do something exceptional with white. But I mean, the other thing is, if you're gonna allow an exchange of bishops, why do you waste the tempo on bishop e2? Then white should do something different here, you know, like the Acerbate formation with bishop e3. Kuprajcik. Now, Kuprajcik plays it normally anyway, you know, bishop e3 early on move 11. No, move 5 or something. You just got to New York City, about to play your league game. Oh, awesome. So good luck, man. Any idea who you're playing, how strong they'll be? Move 11 is playing in the Bankers League. It's like an old tradition in New York City from the days of bygone era. Bishop e3 is interesting. I don't know what else to suggest. I'm kind of running out of ideas other than that. Looks like this is a move. This is a move. That has the advantage of delaying the bishop move and maybe giving you c4 in some positions, so also interesting. Sveshnikov. Sveshnikov has a game with that. He's an aficionado of the c3 advanced variation. You know, this type c3 Sicilian advanced variation. They mesh together. 20-30-ish. You're white against a Najdorf player. Alright, man, you're well prepared. Good luck. Bishop e2, bishop e5 here. So he's supposed to take and at least destroy the structure. Takes, takes, and takes, according to this. But notice white's results weren't that convincing. 3 draws and a win there. Another game of bygone era when I was young. De Grave against Jesper Hall, 1992. So, all right, let me see here. Bishop takes b5, ab. Yeah, that looks like the best. Okay, castles still can't be bad for white, but okay. So the classic question here is, well, what choice do we have? Now white has a good square for his knight and possible knight a4 invasions. I'm gonna try f3 and c4. Just hope he's not on Twitch watching. I don't know, what's the delay, move 11, between our transmission and your opponent watching the stream? Why not hack off the bishop, right? But do you not even trust the stats there? Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't trust these stats at all, but they're significantly, I mean, they're insignificant, statistically irrelevant. So the stats, I do trust the engine a little bit, though. I mean, what does it say? Computer says to take. I mean, I just trust the fact that, you know, structural deformity exists, and there's at least something to play for here. Yeah. So I wouldn't trust these stats, but they do look pretty good. 18 games, though. I don't, you know, think you can have too many games. Like, if you get 50, you'd probably have some statistical kind of relevance. But I mean, it's usually like a case where like the statistics are better for one side because the opening, you know, no good players play this. No good players play A6 in the advanced French. That's why black statistics suck. Not because it's that bad, but because no good players play it except for Shanisha Drazic. You know, this is the real deception about bad openings or weird openings, let's say, like this line. Yeah, it looks like Sveshnikov's move though. The engine's starting to come around and like that. And I mean, I think that Yevgeny has done some analysis. Let's turn off the engine before Nils gets mad. Takes back his bits. So, alright, let's go. So, bishop e2 here, 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 here. And it's like, what? My name is what? Yeah, I mean, this is a player who now we see just plays moves by rote. There's absolutely... I realize that you do this sometimes in the advanced variation to anchor d4, but like here, like when it has nowhere to go, and you have a beautiful square on c3, we're going to put the knight on a3. So this is a matter of not understanding the ideas, just memorizing patterns of moves and applying them in the wrong position. Why would you voluntarily put your knight on a3 here? It just makes no sense. So I want my knight to be passively protecting d4, okay. Instead of like aggressive where it might like play an active role on a4 and cause black some discomfort, I want it to be like passively placed and block my ability to contest the c file because it's you know, unique. Alright, and now black play knight takes e3. Yeah, this is kind of a very classic mistake too, Percy Hepworth. I don't think there's any reason to make that exchange. It's his worst minor piece, and there is the dynamic possibility of him getting play along the f file as well. So these are just concrete mistakes by both sides, like small positional mistakes. You're probably still okay, but I feel like you improved his position a lot. This is just statistical. Enunciation. Castles. Stuttering. Knight d3, rook c8, rook c1, f6. Yeah, the f6, there's no going back from f6 land. Are we going to quote Feingold again? I mean, f6 is, he's joking, you know. I mean, f6 is like literally necessary in a lot of positions. It's not absolutely necessary, however, in this position. It's 100% optional, and it looks kind of risky. I think if I were black, I'd kind of take my chances here, not playing f6 and hoping that maybe I can trade all the pieces on the c file before white does anything bad to me on the king side. That's basically what I'm thinking now. Although not so easy to do that. You know, maybe knight b4. Why don't you just go to a swap meet here? Trade some pieces. Let's grab the a2 pawn. I think we're not that bad off if we can trade another set of pieces. Merle Dixon, are you in the house? We need Merle style here. Before white has some spatial build-up on the king side and just cements his spatial advantage. I think f6 is dangerous. It's dangerous, but it's not fatal. Do I think it's bad then? What, a6 or f6? I think all weird openings are a little bit bad, all weird lines, but you can get away with them, you know, because people, it's a matter of, you know, I mean, Demo Werner knew that a6 isn't really good, but he did it because people don't know what to do. You just kind of, it's kind of gambling. b5, knight a5, knight c4. Well, I mean, b5 you got to be careful about, because if you play b5, you'll lose c5 forever. And that's a really important thing, like in the exchange Slav too. In the exchange Slav, like you never want to lose one of these. You don't want to lose this support point square forever. That's the way, like, you know, the most common way to lose an exchange Slav. Let the other guy get an unremovable piece on like c4 or c5, respectively. So if you play b5, you have to be very, very well prepared for, like, you know, what's going to happen if black lands a knight on c5 for the rest of my life, you know. So I think at b5, even though you're putting the pawn in the right color, might be risky. All right, let's see what happens here. This is a nice move, though. And white plays this weird move. So I'm thinking just take with a knight, and either way you're fine. This is a bad move, knight e5. White just didn't. White wouldn't do well against Merrill Dixon, for example. White just ran out of plans. He was impatient, I think, with knight e5. Now knight takes e5 loses a piece, right? So we have to do. What was I suggesting? Yeah, no, it doesn't lose a piece, of course. Knight takes e5. I think knight takes e5, or you just trade rooks first and play knight takes e5. It should be fine. Play bishop takes e5. I mean, let's see. The oracle says rook f1, rook f1. I'm talking like Rastro. Okay, the computer agrees with you. I thought it was interesting to take with a knight, actually. It has some sort of problem. D takes e5. The engine's taking forever to make up its mind, though. I mean, honestly, even this is probably okay. I guess there could be a problem with the e6. The e6 pawn is a problem. There's this double attack. That gets kind of unpleasant. All right. So it looks like you did all right. Bishop takes e5. This is fine. And then white can maybe put a knight on c5 later on, but his space advantage, he's tied down to this, though. That was a bad move. I mean, seriously, knight e5, very impatient. Oh, the a6, yeah. I mean, you know, it's not a great move, but that's like, you know, I play a lot of openings like that, Percy Hepworth. It really should work at your level. You start worrying about it at the title player level. It gets people out of their books. It's probably a good thing. And now it's like Nefedov, except you're worse. It looks like white's space advantage is kind of consolidated here, and the queen is just monstrous on e4. So I think this is actually a fair result. The draw here is much more appropriate than in Nefedov's game. White's space advantage looks kind of nasty, and I mean, you have this pawn on e6. That's the weakness. I'm happy with the draw here with black. I think that's okay. So that is the end of the game, right? All right, fair enough. I think this draw here. Or did someone lose on time? It's definitely too late to submit a game. I don't think we're going to get through the games we have. D-Chaos. I've only got like 50 minutes left. We've got one. So Percy Hepworth, move 11. I wonder if he can even hang out for the game. Move 11 was here to play his. He was in the stream to play, or he's getting ready to play his Bankers League game. Oh, Move 11 submitted this game. Okay, Soltis playing black against Panchenko. So, Move 11 asking about the King's Indian Kavalek variation, which arises after this. I've been reading Soltis too. When was this game played? Okay, we have no clue. I don't think I know this game. Okay, so Queen A5, this move was really mostly analyzed, I guess, and improved by Grandmaster Kavalek, who was a player the same age as Soltis. Basically, they played in junior Olympiads together for the American team. Kavalek is originally from Slovakia, or what was, you know, Czechoslovakia, but he immigrated to the United States, I guess, when he was young, as far as I know. So, but he was extremely strong. Kavalek was like the best player on the junior Olympic teams and stuff, and he was like the go-to guy for like analysis and when they would have adjournments and stuff. He was by far the strongest. So I think that Soltis basically picked this up from Kavalek, and it's been picked up by other people like Gingy, who taught it to me, you know, and I had another friend who taught it to me too. So this variation's been handed around, you know, amongst American players for a long time. I've played it for many years, but I never had a lot of faith in it for black. What we see here now after e4, e5, I actually played bishop g4, but this move is not so great. So this move has some technical problems. Once I beat Wojtkiewicz with black, and he was like crushing me, but I swindled him or something, and he said, I was on antibiotics. And that's his excuse. So I told this joke like once before. I don't understand how taking antibiotics like explains why you played badly, but if you said you were sick or something, I don't think it's the antibiotics themselves that made you play bad. Anyways, long story. But e5 is a better move. I think Soltis's move here, rather than bishop g4, is the best. Although I played this once and I think I lost to a guy, Francesco de Glaria. I just kind of blindly followed the analysis. So d5 is yeah, I mean, this is critical. So d5 and then cd5. I mean, Soltis played this several times, and I think that this move is the key here. This idea of b5, this is like an exclamation point move by black in this position. That it's surprising because it looks like you're playing on white's side of the board, on the queen side, where white has more space. It seems very strange to do this, to play queen a5 and play b5, but this is huge. I mean, it's going to threaten to play b4 and take out the pawn on e4. So basically, black beats white to the punch on the queen side. It's a strong line, and I think it's still very solid, you know, even today. There's a game, Dan Zoller against Gawain Jones from 2012. By the way, on another note, I think Gawain Jones is a really good theoretician, and if you see his games and in the opening you play, I would highly recommend paying close attention. Even though he's not quite, you know, in the 2700s yet, he's really, really strong in preparation. So 92, I forget now. I think that Soltis mentioned a3 here. Am I remembering this right? Was it this? I have the feeling it was this. Was some sort of analysis that was claimed. It's like Soltis has a story that he said that this was misanalyzed or something like that. So let's see what the engine says. Yes, something with ba3, knight c3. We see no games here. There might be older games, though, that are not in the database. Especially if it was like a game in an American tournament. Let's say Andy Soltis played in some open tournament, even a closed tournament in the United States in the 70s or the 80s. The likelihood of it making into the lichess opening, you know, master database would be actually fairly low. So this is interesting. Probably still like the best line. It looks like Panchenko's 92 is effectively like much more passive. So this is passive, and it gives black a reasonable game, I think. So b4, and now apparently knight on c to b1. Not a lot of games there. We talked about statistical significance earlier. Significance. They disrupted his gut, causing some, yeah, pleasantness. But he wasn't in the bathroom all game or something like that. That's why you're supposed to take like stuff when you take antibiotics to help you to not, you know, you have your stomach not freak out. Knight on cb1, bishop g4. Wow. And so like the Panchenko game is in here, but this is from 1989. I mean, this is a really late Soltis game, comparatively speaking. He basically quit chess like in the early 90s as far as playing regularly. I almost never saw him. I saw him in like 2 tournaments. I've only literally played in 1 or 2 tournaments where Soltis actually played, even though he's not that old. He's probably like 70 now. I'm not sure. He might, yeah, he's probably around late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, maybe he's not 70. Maybe he's in his late 60s. He's probably the same age around like who was playing recently. James Tarjan, who came back. Queen e1, queen b5, f3, bishop c8, rook f2. I mean, where did black, excuse me, go wrong in this game, by the way? So b5 here, b4. knight b1. Is black overextended on the queen side? So the idea of queen b5 seems kind of weird, but you want to get the a pawn rolling. It looks like you're walking into rook e1, bishop f1, kind of helping white, but the queen can pop back there to b7. That's an idea. I mean, it's hard to understand bishop g4. I think this is a concretely bad move. I mean, this doesn't help really black. I mean, I think that you're just forcing white to make the useful move f3. You are getting some dark square weaknesses. But look how Panchenko played this. He didn't rush with f3. He just waited for the right moment. And then slowly white just has more space. And this is a very bad exchange for Soltis. So, I mean, this move deserves special attention, really. I mean, you're basically looking at okay, you could just trade the bishops, the bad bishop for the good bishop, and try to have a better position, but it would help black pieces develop. So this is, I think, a brilliant move. I'm trying to remember if Soltis actually has this game in one of his books. Maybe he wins this? No, he loses. Okay. He tried something very similar in another game. That c6 square is a huge question mark. He had definitely lost some games here. Something has gone seriously wrong for black. The white squares, that's the nightmare scenario. I mean, that your white squares just go. And white has this bishop that, on paper, it could be bad, but it could also be very, very good. This is like a King's Indian attack type of scenario, where black's bishop is definitely bad, and white's bad bishop is not definitely bad. So at the end of the day, white, the white bishop can creep into the game, maybe very powerfully, to h3 or just b5 or just where it is, and the black bishop is going to have to be exchanged for white's bishop, but that's hard to force. So yeah, he got it out. I mean, that was the idea, to get the bishop into the game. It was a good job, actually. And Panchenko plays super safe here. I mean, I think this exchange should be good for Soltis. I think that white's advantage is diminished to some extent with this exchange of bishops. So probably around this point, black is almost okay again. Yeah, the engine still's like +1. But it's not that bad. I mean, he's probably almost holding on here, theoretically. There's the bishop. Then more trades, but this is to open up the C file, so it's a really nice game by white. Panchenko, you guys may not know the name, but he's actually, in my opinion, most famous for this endgame book. He wrote an excellent endgame book, which I have in German. If any of you guys are German or read German, strongly recommend getting the Panchenko endgame book. It's one of the best, like, one book endgame books in existence. But for some weird reason, it's never been, as far as I know, it's never been printed in English. Just a really straightforward endgame book with tons of key examples. But for some reason, again, the chess publisher has never published it in English. It's really, really weird. Rook f6, knight c5, he sacks the exchange. This is a very natural exchange sacrifice. And then this is worth at least a rook. White has this maybe it was fancy play by white, but this is, yeah, it's just winning nice. I didn't see queen g5. I thought he was just going to take here and be like clearly better. But this just wins by force. Nice. So, I mean, somebody could make some money by publishing that Panchenko book, because it's just ridiculous that it's never been printed in English. Like, literally one of the best chess books I know. That's never been published. So really nice. And this is getting kind of weird now. So Panchenko, again, who's an endgame expert, we're gonna like see him going here and here. This is over, man. That's brutal. Nice endgame. Black can't contest the C line. Beautiful, beautiful game. That bishop's worth more than a rook, to say the least. So it's just over. Eventually it's over. He has bishop g4 there if there's a check. Ouch. What am I missing here? Queen d8, rook a8, check. King e7, d6, check. King e6, rook f8. Am I missing something? Rook a8, check. Okay, I don't understand this. Oh my god. What's this? Well, that's sick. I mean, Soltis must have just missed this, you know? This is the move that kills. This is beautiful. Alright. Anyway, beautiful endgame. It's totally over, though. I mean, it's really over here. He played rook takes d8, check, king d6, and then king f7. I think this is over. Now I'm not so sure. They're probably in time pressure, so I don't expect perfect play, but really tough endgame to hold now. Just Magnus. It would be good to play Magnus in this kind of endgame. It's like Magnus versus Karyakin, when Karyakin lost that game where one of the recent tournaments they played. Oh man. Alright. Good game. But we've got time for, hopefully enough time for the last 4 games. We've got half an hour to 35 minutes. I got Merle, Haberbaum, PG, and Bob. Alright, let's do it. Merle. Last 4. Last 4 we have 35 minutes, so that's 8 minutes apiece. 8 minutes analysis, but Merle Dixon's is really fast. I like when he makes names up. He's 1919 in classical, 1919 in blitz, and 1919 in rapid. Respectfully, Rabid Hamster against Almost Master. Alright, let's see this. Almost Master played e5. That's not GM Chess Coach? Doesn't GM Chess Coach play this? Wait. Yeah, it's the same thing. Are you sure that Almost Master isn't GM Chess Coach? How many people play this? Alright. This is the game you wanted me to look at, right? Oh, I recommended Bishop G5 here. I forgot about that. Heinz Offenborn. He's often born. I guess we analyzed this a long time ago. Okay, bro. Bishop G5, Queen B4 check. It's kind of difficult to understand, you know. I don't remember that, though, now that you mention it. I guess we did look at this. Knight C3. We can't play Knight C3. Knight C3. Queen takes B2, Knight D5. Wait, maybe that was it? Does that even work? Can we do that? Oh man, the guy didn't take on B2 after all that. Okay, so we just have Knight D2 and then take with the king. Is that the analysis we looked at? Because I don't remember, Merle. It was like 4 months ago. Okay, so takes here, and then like check. We can play Knight D2. Is that the point? That doesn't look right though. Because then black could take here. I'd probably survive. So I've forgotten our own analysis. Let's see. Bishop B4 check. C3. I mean, even this is good for white, probably. You just come back. Honestly, I like the compensation here. But the analysis was Bishop D2. Okay, so it's basically was it this what we looked at? Bureau Shandor. It's like a Trompowsky Gambit type of thing. Bureau Shandor is a friend of mine from Transylvania, and he's an older IM. Plays in some amateur tournaments now. He's like under 2,200. He's like a sandbagger. Bishop d2. He's not that strong, but he was still relatively legitimately an IM. I mean, he shouldn't be under 2,200. He plays weird openings, though. Okay. Sack the pawn, yeah. I'm just wondering if there's something else even better, you know? The knight d5 is not that clear, so it looks like my analysis was pretty much right. Like, this bishop d2 is a weird idea. I was looking at this. I mean, there's this move, though. Knight takes. That's really weird. That's disturbing. Check this variation out. Rook b1. My god. Knight takes c2 check. King d2 resigns. That'd be a great game. I mean, you could do that to someone in blitz like all day long. Like knight c2 check. Okay, so queen c3, and then what? Not bishop d2. Queen d2, knight c2, king d1, and haha, your knight is like almost trapped. It probably is. Queen takes d2, king d2, knight a3. Oh my god, rook b4. It's not clear though. Sensation. This is a great line, and clearly better way. I'm gonna turn on engine now. But before our main sponsor. No, Clash Kid is the main sponsor. Nils is third. Before one of our major sponsors gets angry. Alright, anyways, that was all fun, but we gotta go. We gotta go. Alright, so Queen a5 was played. Interesting. Now this is good. Alright, so it's basically like a weird Scandinavian at this point. Takes the pawn, fine. Development. I mean, knight d5 looks like a possibility now. It doesn't do anything. Knight b5. I mean, Merle, maybe you have some sort of powerful discovery. This move, I don't know. Do we really want to trade the knight on e5? Or just trade on our terms? What about if you do this? I mean, this looks pretty problematic for black. What's he going to do? He has to trade not to lose a piece. And that's just good for you. It's not like he's losing, but clearly white stands better. Alright, let me see. It's hard to decide. It looks like my line is probably best. Knight d5. This is horrifying for black, though. Even this simple position. Yeah, I mean, you don't put your queen on d4 here. It should go back, I guess. This is interesting, though. Okay. It looks wrong. So the other possibility is queen f3. I mean, queen f3 might be a bit more active than going queen e2, and it doesn't block your bishop on f1. So I think that would be the other move I would check with the computer. It's kind of a coin flip. But finally, queen f3, queen e2, it's hard to say. Queen e2, this is blocked. I'm not super happy about that. Bishop c5, castles. Wow, avoiding the trade of queens, very brave. I mean, any endgame is much better for you. It looks like an acerbate game now. Queen on h5, everything's hanging. Black's king still in the middle. It's over for black. You sure this wasn't acerbate's game? Alright, man, that was fun. But you did good. You did good punishing almost master. Okay, last games. Haberbomb, PG. Thank you guys for being subscribers to my stream, and thanks for the bit war, the mini bit war today. All right, let's have a look. Oh, please have a look at this game if you have the time. You have the time, we have the beer. Is that? No, I don't think that's how it goes. If you have the time, we have the beer. That's a jingle. My new jingle. E4, C5, D4. What am I thinking of? Does anybody know? JCS? What jingle am I thinking of? Yeah, nice wipeout. But it's still an interesting line if black plays correctly. I like knight d5 better, though. That looked really cool. Then queen d8, and you just have an advantage without tactics, but just space. All right, wow. Haberbomb is black here. He's playing the Kraken. I would think the Kraken would be like lashing out with the A and the H pawns, you know, with those big squid arms on the side. Balog Chaba. You have the time, we have the beer. Is that really a jingle? Acerbate? That can't be right. It's a Miller High Life commercial from 1979. Are you serious? This must be... It wasn't a draw. He won, right? He just won, man. It was over. It wasn't like Nefedov offering a draw in a better position, or Percy offering a draw in an equal position. This was no draw. Merle doesn't do draws. You guys know that, right? Wow, weird move. Okay, g6. So this is gonna transfer to this is gonna transfer to a bishop c4, you know, g6 line, which actually might not be that bad for black. This is kind of an interesting line that's underrated. You can see here, Ribley. Look at these names. Zoltan Ribley and Sabalo have played this. Relatively modern game by Sabalo, who's a really good Sicilian player. Still kicking. I don't know if he played in the World Senior this year, but he's a tough dude. Okay, so bishop c4, bishop g7, and then here. What is that? So e5 looks like the big move, and then I was analyzing this with like move 11 or someone, and so it looks pretty good for black. Knight h6, but most people are rightfully like kind of afraid to play this system. But looking at the statistics, and then looking at it with the engine previously, we decided that it's actually kind of interesting for black. So this is not a bad way to play. But white needs to play e5. If white doesn't play e5, I mean, I don't think, you know, he's really got anything. This is a very huge loss of time with bishop b3. Just a totally unnecessary... You can't play the Mora Gambit and, like, just give up tempos. Tempi. Uh-oh. And give them back, in this case. Giving back the lost tempo. But one can make the argument that maybe Haberbomb's h6 is kind of a useful move. Unlike bishop b3, which really doesn't do a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, white's struggling to prove enough compensation now. What's he going to do? Castle queenside? So basically I see no compensation, or a half a pawn compensation at best here. I'm preaching... Oh no, it's someone on sound? I mean, seriously, someone on sound, this is not a bad line for black. It's totally underrated. But you cannot waste tempi in an opening like the Smith-Morra. I mean, the whole opening is based on your time advantage, so you're going to play something like bishop b3. It's important. Yeah, h6 looks bad. Maybe he can do sacks again with e5. I mean, this might actually kind of refute the whole thing. A better version of e5 now, where h6, or the same thing, but we could argue that h6 also weakens black's position, particularly at g6. So let's see what it says. The black box. Yeah, I mean, e5 is a subtle move. We can try d6 and then sack a pawn back. That's probably like the soundest, most sensible thing in the world. Give the pawn back. And you could probably do the similar thing in the main line if you want to look. So it looks like e5, d6. Is there a problem, Houston? This has never been played. Oh, that's crazy. It seems like so fundamental. So the idea is if pawn takes pawn, we just develop and get out of town. White's still claiming an advantage here. What would Esterman say? He's got this analyzed like 20 moves. Some book. But anyways, alright, let's see what happens. So knight h6, I'm sorry, h6, queen e2, d6, h3, f6. We're at this point here. This is a long game, so I'm going to have to go faster. So does white have enough compensation? Not really. That is the problem, though. Where do you put your queen? You know, this is like literally the only kind of okay place for it on a5. Helped by the fact that white played bishop b3, because this allows like a3 and b4 harassing your queen. Now knight e5, kind of a strange move. The Gingy queen h5. Roman does the same thing in the accelerated dragon I was talking about earlier this week. You might like legitimately be able to sacrifice a piece here for at least an equal attack. 95. Well, I don't know how many books Esterman has written, Merle. I mean, Bob. He might have like 3 books for all I know. Queen a5. I stopped buying chess books like 10 years ago when I started playing poker full time. Queen takes e5 here. What about taking with the pawn? It's an option. The computer wants to play bishop e6. That's hardcore. That's difficult to do. And the guy at e5. Let me turn off the engine. I'm sorry, I left it on. f5. This looks like Andrea Perrone style. It's legitimate. But this would be more disruptive to play e5 because the knight, where's it going to go? I mean, this move is good, but e5 was even more upsetting. Yeah, so we've had to make some major concessions now, and white has full compensation. I think that Haberbaum needs to train with with Nils's friend Scoble or someone on sound. Though now it looks like it's fading away again. Like white's advantage is kind of faded away. Again, time is valuable. I mean, time, you know, it slips away before you know what's happening. And suddenly black's great. Goodbye. How did that happen? It was like compensation and then it was gone. Knight d5. I mean, this move doesn't do anything but trade off pieces, seemingly, and maybe helping black in the process. So that's it, and he got away. Who knows? Maybe white could sack in exchange here. I mean, time. Do something, man. Don't just sit there, do something before it's too late. You know, I don't know, but black just sat there and like let you do whatever you wanted, and bishop e1 is really ridiculous. You know, it's over now. I mean, if it's not over, it's a miracle if white hangs on somehow here. I mean, rook c7. Is that maybe something? Can we try to survive with white with rook c7? I guess just rook e8, and then it's like white is down. White is down 2 nuggets. 2 nuggets too many. The money grubbing. Money grubber. Money grubber. He's like the namesake of pawn grubber. Pawn grubber versus money grubber. King g7, rook e1, bishop c6. I'm definitely not money grubbing, but again, you have to ask people like why. Well, I got into chess for the money. I mean, clearly, if I cared about money, like why would I become a professional chess player? That's what like my thing about like Susan Polgar, who seems to care about money a lot. For example, people like that who stop playing chess to just try to exploit chess for the money aspect. You know, why didn't you just like go, you know, learn how to be like a, you know, stock trader or something? If you love money a lot, I mean, why play chess? Rook takes e7, king f6, rook ce1, rook a e8, and it's basically over. Good king, pawn up, second pawn up likely. All the pawns on the wrong squares on the king side. This looks like a pretty straightforward win. Little sketchy technique there. H5, an interesting move. What are you doing? That move better work. You know, like, that better not malfunction. Alright. This is getting weird, man. So your endgame technique was doubtful. White, yeah, there was no reason to play h5. That was too risky and something you shouldn't play unless you're 100% certain that it doesn't work for white. Letting the water flow, letting the days go by. Try to be classy about it. I don't want to make money, I just want to simply survive. h7, king takes h7, king f5, rook e8. So this really changed hands several times. Basically, Haberbaum misplayed it, and Wade had a lot of chances, and now it's like reversed back again. So both sides made tons of mistakes in the endgame, and this, oops, it's mate, almost mate. All right, we've got time for just the last couple games. What do we have? PG and Bob. Pawn Grubber. Alright, so classical chess, Pawn Grubber versus me. Oh god, it's my game. I have to analyze my game. I'm getting tired. It's 15 minutes, 20 minutes to the end of the stream. Last two games, guys. Alright, so Pawn Grubber's white, and we had an interesting opening. I played this Romanician variation, which I like. But the first question here is, okay, he's supposed to play Queen C2, and I've played quite a few strong players, mostly in Blitz, in this line, with decent results. Another player who plays this with black is Eric Lebrun, the Grandmaster from Germany, veteran Grandmaster. He played it against me. Even when I'm white, I don't know when I'm doing that well, even though I play it with black. But Queen C2 is the main move. Grishuk actually famously played this like against somebody. Yeah, Grishuk was black, sorry. Gelfand against Grishuk. So Grishuk lost. I like Rook A7. I've played this before. No, Grishuk didn't lose. He drew, but I thought he lost a game. That's weird. So he was just worse or something. I don't remember. Okay, he didn't actually lose, but Gelfand had a good game in that game. Yeah, but okay. Pawn Grubber plays b3. This is just like a move. It's not so bad. Interesting to see the Avruk, but Avruk was 1997. b3 is not as strong as Queen c2. I think this is a better move. There's some interesting lines there. So b3. And then, I mean, I don't really know what to do against b3. Typically, I would like castle, probably. Or maybe play d5, putting pressure on the c4 pawn. But for some reason, I just was like, okay, I don't know, I'll just play c5, because that's a move that I would play against Queen c2 and some of the other systems. But strangely, like, it's never been played. It's not that bad of a move for black. There's obviously the possibility of the bishop getting trapped on b4. I mean, so white castles, and the thing is, if he moves his bishop away to like f4 or g5 or whatever, I have to be very careful my bishop doesn't get trapped. But not an immediate problem because, you know, I can like take on d4. So then there was this one game we looked at after the stream. Braystone, solid FIDE master from Canada here, played bishop f4 in an old game. But it was really creative what Pawn Grubber did here. I mean, I got to give him credit. This was a move that I just thought was like, okay, that's crazy, you know? But he stuffs my bishop on b4, so that's really threatening to get trapped now. It's not, you know, he's maybe allowing me to sack a piece for like 3 or 4 pawns or something crazy like that. I could start just grubbing pawns, literally. The other thing I looked at seriously here was taking and then playing a4. So something along these lines. I was really considering this, to give my bishop retreat back on a5. But finally I decided that it's just too weird, so I just decided to trade pieces. The computer doesn't like this. The computer likes, what is it? E takes d5? Some analysis here. a3. a3, sorry, not e5, but e takes d5, a3. What's that? I was afraid of bishop g5, I guess. And this is where I could sack a piece. So I couldn't evaluate what would happen here. I have the massive armada on the queen side. The Spanish Armada. Isn't this awesome, though? I mean, this would be really kind of weird, you know? Just too complicated to even, like, figure out what the heck is going on. You know, I have no idea. It's worse than, like, a... It's like a Botvinnik variation of the Semi-Slav or something. Alright, so I just decided to wimp out there. But I missed this. Like, I don't know why. I was moving kind of quickly, and I'm thinking he's going to develop. And I thought he was going to try some kind of, you know, Queen's Indian pawn sack, like Knight H4. Or I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe Queen takes D2 at the time. I guess maybe I thought he would do this. And then on ED, play like Knight H4. More or less, my assumption was something lame like that, you know. But he found this move, or knew this move. He was planning this move, and this move is pretty strong, actually. And now, I don't know what's going on. It's like a weird Benoni. I thought I was okay. But he missed this. Knight C3. And white would probably be slightly better now. Rook A7. Acerbate. Oh, it doesn't seem so bad for black. It's just like a really demented Benoni. I mean, not that bad, actually. Maybe even like B5 or something. It's fun. It's a fun variation, creating a lot of really crazy positions. Engine says D6. So it's not so bad. I'm going to turn off this engine. So he went crazy with E4. Again, the engine judging this very complex position very harshly. So I have D4, E5 here to worry about, basically. So I did this. He does this. Now, it's all based on Knight C6, interfering with his threats on the long diagonal. I thought this was okay for me. I get a strong knight on e4. I offer an exchange. This is golden. I mean, if he does this, it's just like queen takes a8, knight d5, bishop b7, and good luck, you know, because I think that black is just better here at the end of the day. I mean, I don't have any worries about this position. So he doesn't take the exchange. He just does something cool with queen h5, which stopped me in my tracks. And I don't know here, maybe I misplayed it. Maybe I should do like f5 or h6 or something else. Because I played g6. And later I kind of regretted it. Because he sits there and I can't get rid of his stupid queen on f6. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I can continue to offer the exchange, but I need to get my bishop back into the game. This is the main problem, that I'm shut down. You know, and that's why I played rook b8 and played for b5. So this is like the critical moment. I underestimated how strong f5 is. I mean, I knew it was strong, but I didn't really consider playing f5 because it looks ridiculous. Like my king is wide open here. But I guess it's not so easy. I just move away and I just move away to h8 and he can't get me. I mean, it's not that simple. So after this, apparently I was lost. I mean, I saw rook b6. You know, that was my whole idea, to defend laterally with rook b6. Again, another style of just for you acerbate, like the lateral rook moves. You could do it on the third rank too. But I underestimate how fast this is, apparently. Like f6. You know, I was going to play here, and I thought, okay, it's maybe not that bad. I'm not sure. It's bad because of something. He goes knight d5, and I mean, I would have been willing to sack this guy. I guess I was intending to play this, but it's just too slow. I think I thought I had this, you know, bishop takes, not this, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I guess I hallucinated. Knight here. I just hallucinated that I was defending, and he didn't see it either. So there's no defense to f6, like f5 immediately. Well, there's something better than rook b6, I guess, but it's like lost for me. So he missed a win. An actual game was like g4, which is bad. I missed f5 again. Now it's just unclear. And the computer wants me to take on b3. I was afraid to do that. So I played rook b6. And computer is having trouble finding this. I guess you know, Leela chess would beat me here. Alpha 0 or whatever. I guess I'd have no chance against Alpha 0. But he's a human. You know, he makes a mistake. I take here, then knight d5. And apparently I can get greedy, but I was terrified, so I wanted to get rid of that knight. I played it safe. Really creative game by Pawngrubber though. He missed like 2 wins. I was better. Now I was better, but I wasn't sure I was better. You know, I thought I was maybe even worse here. So I was kind of happy to be okay. Because after this, honestly, I still feel like I'm under pressure. His queen is like, I can't get it out of there. You know, it's like entrenched in my position. My extra pawn can't move. So I don't know why I'm better here, according to the computer. And then he just avoids the exchange of queens. And I expected him to like take here. Maybe go into an ending by taking on c5, but he didn't bite. And then g5, rook f5, this is a good move. Check, and he can just hang out. I actually looked at h4. I wasn't sure about that. So here, apparently, I was running out of time. I had 17 minutes, but it's not a lot of time, actually, when you're playing 20 boards simultaneously. I have 17 minutes starting from this position, apparently, but I was basically in trouble on the clock, so I just eliminated the threats, and then I played this kind of quickly. I guess this is a mistake. It didn't look like it could be a mistake, but anyway, it's like really hard now. I think it's like probably a draw if both sides play perfectly, but apparently here I have absolutely nothing. So it was totally back and forth. And a really great struggle though. So Saji fan, what are you doing? You submitted a different game? This is your new submission? Saji fan changed his game to Mikhail Tal against Viswanathan Anand. Alright. Tal has 43 cent upon loss, Anand 16. Well, I don't know. I guess we should look at it from Black's perspective. 1989. Man. 1989 was a good year. What did I do in 1989 chess-wise? Not too much. C4, C5. Oh, the knight d4. Okay, what do they call this? Like the Leboyevich variation or something? I guess the Leboyevich variation is this what it's called? Well, it doesn't specify. Yeah, Erdos played this against me once, and we had a draw. Victor Erdos. But it's fine. I mean, knight g1, sometimes people draw like this. Merle would like that. Merle and Nefedov and I. People who love draws. But anyways, okay, so this is supposed to be like the main line. Knight takes f3. You know, I would imagine you could take with the g pawn. It's actually kind of surprising that no one's played that. Honestly. There's a really weird move with like g4 coming up. That's theory. In this position, it's even been played. Medved against Galyash, guys who I know really well. But it's a little early. Funny, Medved and Galyash both play the English with white. Bishop g7. So, okay, this is weird though. What's b3? I'm trying to remember. I guess Black's move might not be this weird. Oh, g6 seems right. Okay, maybe this is theory. Bishop g7, bishop b2. Now I don't know. Tal against Anand. d6. Yeah, so here's where the g4 is played. I guess this is an improvement. It's a really weird idea to like confine Black with g5. And that's the modern approach. There was a really good game by somebody like Krasenkov or something. So he plays g3. This is just too routine, and white doesn't get... sorry, just hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, guys. I got just a couple minutes. I gotta go. So, anyways, the G4 is really the critical line in this opening. Basically, Tal got nothing. This is totally equal. And I like the way that Anand just trades off that guy. So far, it's safe. I like the way Anand plays, you know, without creating any weaknesses. The young Anand here, 1989. He was renowned for his memory. In particular, they said he was like an encyclopedia at that stage. His knowledge of the opening and his ability to memorize the openings. Happy birthday, Bob. Oh, you're born in 1989. Wow. Bob, I am your father. I am your father, Bob. Bishop takes b2. Knight takes b2. Son of Sledgy. Wasn't there somebody who actually had that handle? They created the handle. e5, d takes e6, f takes e6, rook on a to d1. Yeah, I mean, it's weird that black is necessarily better here. The only thing I don't like about white's position, like Tal played a4, so it feels like this pawn is kind of a liability. I think otherwise he'd be basically okay. Although it's a really close game at this point. Tal died in 1990 or 19 was it 1990? 1991? I don't remember the year. Do you guys know the year he died? You guys are welcome for the stream. Thanks for hanging out with me. We're just checking out the end of this. So basically, Anand, like, you know, I think he would be respectful of Tal here. Is he playing for a win? Is he just playing? Tal goes crazy with c5. So Tal had some kind of crazy sacrifice with c5. And then I was just like, all right. Takes. This is actually a trade. And we're just quickly, we got to go, guys. So I'm out of here. We'll see what happens at the end. Knight d3. Tal's just down a pawn. Tal could still play. This might have been played at the New York Open. I'm not sure where this was played. It's very possible it was the New York Open in 1989. Because Tal came to Boston, actually. This is the year before I moved to Boston. And he died in 92. So he came to Boston and he hung out with a lot of people in Boston in 1989. Alright, so we'll just play through the last moves here. Sorry, guys, for the disruption. I gotta go. Alright. Yeah, so Tal was in his last years here. Eventually blundered a shot, knight e3 check. So if you take it, it's queen c2. Just crushing. Just a crushing shot. And then this, again, queen c2. Gives up a piece. It's over. Alright, guys, thanks for submitting the games. Yeah, no, he was alive in 1989. He came to a friend of mine's house. He played a lot of Blitz with all the players from Boston. And I was so sad that I missed it because I moved up 1 year later. I will see you guys later. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. We'll see you Friday at 3:30. We're doing Fast Blitz tomorrow, 3:30 in the afternoon. Thanks to JCS, everybody, for watching. Goodbye. Goodbye, guys. So we'll see you guys later. Again, Friday, Fast Friday, is going to be at 3:30 tomorrow. No 12 noon type of stream. Other than that, Sunday Simul, usual time, 4:30 p.m. I will see you guys later. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the support from Clash Kid and the others. Have a great night. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.